Oregonians registered tens of thousands of electric vehicles over the last 12 years. And while it may be a win for decreasing emissions, more EVs can also mean less funding for ODOT from the Oregon gas tax. Fox 12's Leslie Dominique has more from a professor who has a different take on the issue.
From cracks to potholes, the state of Oregon has used the gas tax to partially fund the upkeep of roads. In a January press conference, Multnomah County leaders asked the state legislature for millions of dollars in funding to bring county roads to standard.
We have to think of this as a reset of how we get funds for highways and roads and bridges.
In November, the Oregon Department of Energy celebrated the registration of 100,000 electric vehicles since 2013. Oregon is among 9 other states that have been working since then to register a collective 3.3 million electric vehicles by this year. With more EV drivers on the road, the gas tax revenue from the pump is expected to see a decrease. And now Oregon lawmakers are looking to find ways to make up for the lack of funding in the state's transportation system. This as ODOT anticipates a $354 million budget imbalance for the 2025 to 2027 period.
We have electric vehicles that are working for Amazon and other companies, and they're not paying into the street system.
For non-electric driver Zane Ranke, the solution is an equitable tax.
We're all using the road the same. It's kind of unfortunate for people who use gas still that they have to pick up the slack for the EV drivers.
But Dr. Hal T. Nelson, an associate professor in public administration at PSU, says the real issue in transportation funding lies in inflation. According to ODOT, the state gas tax does not adjust for inflation.
There's been a long history of deferred maintenance in the roads and bridges in Oregon, partly because, the federal gas tax hasn't budged in 30 years, right?
The federal gas tax hasn't changed since 1993, not allowing for tax revenues to keep up with transportation finance needs of certain states. In Oregon, electric vehicle drivers can face higher registration fees. Plus, Nelson says if EV drivers aren't fueling up on gas and emitting CO2, they shouldn't have to be taxed for it.
EV drivers should be given a hall pass on these taxes because they're not spewing out all these deadly gases.
Reporting in Beaverton, Leslie Dominique, Fox 12 Oregon.